Bringing in a professor, I can't give you his name, and this professor is a well-known pedophilia advocate. This professor, in his book called Child Loving, one of his many books about erotic children and the myth of the innocent children, this professor says in Child Loving, and I quote, "I wish to do two things: to show the extent to which it is already there at our heart, and more important, to throw open the light, the tricks we now have come to depend on to sustain our ideas of what is natural." He's a very skilled writer, and he loves to play with words. But really what he's saying there is that he's going to, in his writing, show us that it's natural, that men already have in their hearts the desire to have sex with children. I read you his first quote, that if they're desirable, then you can't deny this. And now he's saying that it's in the heart of the man, and it is natural to be there. This is so disgusting. I can't believe that our university would allow this to happen. In fact, this man wrote an article in the year 2010 called "The Velvet Light Trap," and he referred to a Vanity Fair picture of a 15-year-old girl with her back exposed and sort of wrapped in a sheet. Look at how he described this and what he said about it. He said, "Children are commonly imaged as empty slates on which we can draw our desires, figure our longings, empty faces, open hearts, eager glances. They are not so much illegible as indefinitely open to inscription." The girl's back was shown in this picture, and the little girl, according to this man, is just something that his perversion can be written upon. I mean, it is just spectacular. Let me read the rest of it. "The girl's big, bare, unprotected back, carefully lit for all to see. Then a slate on which we can scrawl our rudest and most obscene comments without fear of detection." What kind of disgusting material is this man putting forward? This is outrageous, and in my opinion, it may even be a crime in this country. Why? Because by saying such things, he's really counseling men to act upon their inner desires. And the evidence of that is NAMBLA, because they're even saying that his material does this for them. Well, the Criminal Code of Canada in section 464 has a section entitled "Counseling Offense that is not committed." Yes, so counseling someone to do something even if they don't do it. Look at what the law says. Everyone who counsels another person to commit an indictable offense is, if the offense is not committed, guilty of an indictable offense and is liable to the same punishment which a person who attempts to commit the offense is liable. Yes, so if you are the mastermind and you teach someone to go and murder, then you are guilty of murder as well, and you will then face the same penalty. If you are the mastermind of a bank robbery, then even if you're caught before the bank is robbed, you can still be put in prison. Well, we have the evidence of NAMBLA. We know that he is well known as a pedophilia advocate. So I believe our government should investigate this professor. I believe it's my opinion that he should not even be allowed in the country of Canada. If he is doing things that may cause people to do an indictable criminal offense, to rape little boys and girls, then the RCMP should investigate. In fact, I want to ask you to sign the petition at protectourchildren.ca and ask the immigration minister to bar this man from coming into this country and teaching this vile material. I want you to call your member of parliament. We have a tool on the website where you can click it, put in your postal code, and up will come the contact information of your member of parliament. I want you to call the prime minister, because remember that the prime minister has quite recently said that he's going to get tough on this type of stuff. Well, let's put it to the test, because yes, he's going to get tough on sentencing, but sometimes you have to do things that are preventative, and stopping a man like this from teaching this to our teachers and therefore to our society is a preventative measure. The Institute for Canadian Values, here we have fought to protect children, to raise the age of sexual consent, and we're victorious with that, to strengthen the criminal code and to guard children from sexually explicit educational material. Remember in 2010 where we were successful at getting this radical document stopped. Well, we need to be successful here, because this symposium gives us a glimpse into the pedagogical philosophy that exposes our children to such radical, explicit sex at very, very young ages. And remember that this is the same teachers' college where tenured professor Benjamin Levin was charged with several counts of possessing and making child pornography. Little boys and girls being raped while they videotape it. I mean, this is disgusting material. Now you have to wait for the conviction. He's not convicted and you're innocent until proven guilty. But remember that this is the same educational institute. In fact, this is the same deputy, they say, man, there was the deputy minister that created this material. He was the deputy minister of education. He was the PhD that was creating this material with his partner, Kathleen Wynne, the minister of education. The material based on equity, Bill 13, based on the issue of the issue of bullying, and they take this terrible scourge that's in our society of bullying and they make it into their issue so that they can advance radical sexual material. Let me show you what is said in the kindergarten curriculum book. To change the way our society thinks and speaks is a daunting task at best. What better place to try, though, than kindergarten? Those of us who have taught this age group in particular understand how quickly young children learn and how magnificently open and receptive they are. Yes, this is what they are teaching, and it must stop. And this glimpse, this symposium by a professor that is well known to teach this material is coming to Canada on October the 19th. It's up to me and to you to stop him. Go to canadiantimes.ca, sign that petition, call your member of parliament, call the prime minister, get involved, get all your friends to do the same thing. Sign the petition to protect our children. You go straight to it at protectourchildren.ca. Get all your friends to do so. Call your member of parliament, call the prime minister, call the minister of immigration, and ask for them to investigate to protect our children from this type of teaching. This professor, you go to our website, canadiantimes.ca, you can get his name, you can get his writings, a link to all of his material, and you can see for yourself, and then you can give it to your government and ask them to protect our children. And if they don't, what good is in them? If they want to just put our children and put them to this terrible social engineering experiment of saying that the children should be exposed at very young ages to sexually explicit material. In fact, they argue that the internet's already doing that, so we better do it as well. Well, why would you join in on something like that? No, we need to stop it. In fact, if you look at their material and you look at where it comes from people like Alfred Kinsey. It comes from people like this professor. And why are they doing it? Well, it just appears to be misguided philosophy, and it must stop. I want to also ask you to put your money where your mouth is. And I want to send you this plaque as a protector of children. And I want you to give your best donation. And you know I don't ask for donations very often on this program. But for this, we must have some money so that we can use it to protect children from the scourge of child abuse. And we need to stop this abusive teaching, this radical sex education material. We're not talking about regular sex education, we're talking about explicit, starting in kindergarten. It must stop. I want to thank you for watching. I want to ask you to go to the website and give your best donation and take a stand for the sake of the children. May God bless you until we see you next week.